External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar. He, in fact, has expressed his concern on the wider conflict between Israel and Iran, and he has gone on to say, and I'm quoting from that statement, "We regard October 7th as a terrorist attack. We understand that Israel had a need to respond, but we also believe that any response by any country has to take into account international humanitarian law, that it must be careful about any damage or any implication for civilian populations." Let's first listen into that.
If one looks at the current situation, I think it would be right to start off with October 7th. We regard October 7th as a terrorist attack. We understand that Israel had a need to respond. But we also believe that any response by any country has to take into account international humanitarian law, that it must be careful about any damage or any implications for civilian populations. And that given what has happened in Gaza, it is important to have some kind of international humanitarian effort out there. And we are very much concerned at the possibility of a broadening of the conflict, not just what happened in Lebanon, but also, I referred earlier to the Houthis and the Red Sea, and, to some extent anything that happens between Iran and Israel. So, again, it's one thing to be concerned. I'm sure you can say that for a lot of countries. If, as part of that concern, you can end up doing something about it, again, don't underestimate the importance of communication in difficult times. If there are things to be said and passed on and passed back, I think those are all contributions that we can make, and we do.
Mr. Robinder Sachdev, exactly the points that we were just discussing. The fact that humanitarian law needs to be well within consideration when this sort of an escalation is done by any country, and also a subtle mention on war crimes. How would you read this statement by the External Affairs Minister and this entire position that Israel has taken, even in the face of the resistance that it's getting from many quarters?
No, thank you very much. See, I'll give you two pieces of information to you and your viewers, and you can make a decision. Putin has been declared a war criminal for the crime of kidnapping 3,000 children. Remember,
yes.
The official charge for him is 3,000 children kidnapped from the Donetsk region. Putin, war criminal. Here, Netanyahu, maybe 10,000 children killed. So should Netanyahu not also be a war criminal? So what is happening in this world is a divide happening. Your freedom fighter is my terrorist, and my freedom fighter is your terrorist. The narrative is that Hezbollah is a terror organization. Yes, it indulges in terroristic activities, right?
Yes.
But for the Lebanese people, they are freedom fighters.
Yes.
Similarly, the various militia groups, whichever are there. So, but yes, as Minister Jaishankar says then, okay, fine. So those are the realities of this world today that we are seeing. Okay, it's basically might is right, which is happening. Declaring Putin within 30, 45, fast track kind of a thing, right? Done. Because it suits a certain group of nations or a certain, the West, let's say, it's the West. It's partly also West versus the rest. Okay. So similarly here, what is happening and what we are seeing and what Minister Jaishankar is saying is, he's saying the wise thing in a realpolitik sense. He's saying that, yes, we realize Israel had a need to retaliate. So he's not, taking the high moral ground that, okay, no. Yes, a nation has the right or the need to retaliate. But what he's saying is that your need to retaliate must match up and balance against some kind of norms, some sense of proportionality.
Yes.
If, let's say, Gaza terrorists have definitely, committed heinous acts, 2,000, let's say 1,500 Israelis killed, unfortunate, right? Fine, proportionality could be that, okay, 2,000 killed, you kill 20,000. Max, that's so where is the, where are these proportionalities being discussed? Nowhere. So it's essentially each nation to its own hardcore interests.
Yes.
And Yeah, so that's what we're seeing playing out here.
Absolutely. That's an important point that you're making, Robinder Sachdeva. I'd like to thank you and Major General Sivach for joining us on the broadcast. This is all about the military heft and the international heft that so far was, in fact, with the United States of America. But right now they have other superpowers like Russia, like China to deal with it. In this case, Iran will get a backing allegedly by Russia or even China for that matter. And that's why you see this entire international political turmoil also rise after this conflict in the Middle East only escalated. We're slipping into a very, very short break. Coming right back.